Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in again to this series of conversations running in the run-up to our event, Be Your Light, on 6th and 7th of September here in Gent. We are interviewing our speakers, Voices of Light, who are going to give a presentation during that conference. And today we are welcoming Dr. Bryan Ardis, one of the world's most influential and respected voices in holistic and complementary medicine. I know Dr. Bryan personally. He's a crusader for truth and justice in healthcare and a beacon of hope really for people who are trying to seek natural remedies to what's happening to them in a world that is often dominated by controversial treatments and policies. And he is a tireless searcher for truth, healer at heart, and also a founder of Nature Wins. And he has dedicated his life to helping people reclaim their health by returning to the wisdom of nature and really talking to the innate ability to heal. At our conference, Be Your Light, he's going to talk about frequency or food and frequency and try to explain to us how what we consume not only influences our body, but also our energy, our moods, and our ability to heal. So, Dr. Ardis, Bryan, welcome.
It is great to be here and joining all of you. I hope everybody watching and listening is having an incredible, blessed day and looking really forward to contributing to your conference coming up. It's going to be amazing. Hope you're all going to be there. Make sure you're there.
Thank you, Bryan. I'd like to start the interview with going back to your roots, because your work is deeply rooted in a belief in nature's healing power. Could you please share a little bit with our audience your personal journey, really, and how your background has changed your vision on health?
Yeah, I like so many other people around the world, have been conditioned and programmed since our birth, really, to not have a lot of faith in the self-governing healing powers of the human body or the healing power of nature. Instead, you've all been conditioned, including myself, and brainwashed to believe that nature sucks. Nature's dangerous. Nature has side effects. You should only trust science, man-made drugs, vaccines, and surgeries for everything health-related. And I was just like you. All of you have the same belief in indoctrination. In fact, all of us are confronted at some point with, am I really going to let this fever run its course? Or am I going to take Tylenol, ibuprofen, Motrin drugs to suppress my fever like I've been told to, right? So all of us are conflicted 24/7 with this reality. Does food really matter, or is it really just drugs and genetics? Genetics being the blame for all of your misery, suffering, and symptoms, which are all being told you need a drug to counteract or balance because you genetically are wired to have these problems. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, the truth is all of that's a fraudulent, deceptive lie, all of it. But because you've heard it your whole life, you have to really battle this indoctrination with reality and common sense. So let me give you a little background on how it is I transformed myself from the medical programming I'd have my whole life since I was born to realizing, oh my God, nature and the human body has the ability to heal itself. And we've known it our whole lives. Seriously. Because every patient I saw in practice for 20 years were conflicted. They've been told by their medical doctors they couldn't heal from these problems for their entire life. They were going to have it their entire life, and it was blamed on genetics. So to come back to food and frequencies and healing, I just want to let you guys know I had to do some self-introspection and do some common sense analysis to see, is it real that the human body can heal itself, or does it really need drugs to alter its physiology to change my life experience every day? All right, so everybody out there, just want y'all to think about this. If you break a bone or you see your arm is now deformed and it has an angle where it doesn't belong, but you can't see the bone is broken, you know something's wrong. You're going to go to the ER. You're going to go to the emergency room. You're going to go see your medical doctor. They're going to either do an x-ray or CT scan and tell you if it's broken or not. Even if it is broken, your bone in your body, wherever it is, they're going to put a cast around it. And then they're going to sit back and wait and tell you to show up every 4 to 8 weeks to come do re-x-rays of the break. And what they're doing is they're waiting to see, is the immune system in the person's body Is it healing the broken bone all by itself at a normal rate, which is typically 8 to 12 weeks, 6 to 12 weeks? So what they're wanting to see is it doing that? And so I literally had to ask myself, is there ever any time in my life where my body was able to heal itself? And did it have anything to do with the foods I eat? Seriously, this is what I did. Okay, what have we all been taught and programmed to believe our bones are primarily made of? Calcium. In fact, we've all been told our bones are primarily calcium. So if someone breaks a bone in their body, what does the body itself have to go collect to put in the place of the break in order to rebuild bone? Calcium. Where do you get calcium from, Jonathan and everybody watching? From the food you eat. It's not in the air. Have any of you ever read that you inhale nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and calcium? No, never. You don't inhale calcium. You ingest it. From where? Vegetables, fruits, nuts, meats. They have calcium in them. All right, so the immune system needs a certain amount of calcium that it can go grab and then bring into this broken area under the cast your medical doctor put on you. And all we're all doing, even the medical profession, is waiting for the immune system to gather enough calcium to put it in the breaks place all by itself, self-governed. No one told it to do that. You are waiting. I am waiting. Every medical doctor is waiting for your immune system to heal itself. Now, after 8 weeks, they x-ray your bone. This is literally the conversation I had with myself in my head 25 years ago when I broke free of medical programming. I was literally thinking to myself, has my body ever healed itself of anything? Oh my God, I've broken multiple bones doing sports and athletics. Okay, did the medical doctor do anything to heal the bone? No, they just sat back and waited. Even if you tell me your medical doctor had to put a rod inside your broken bone to get the two broken fragments to align themselves close enough together, exactly. What connected the two ends of the bone together? Did the rod do it? No. The surgeon has nothing to do, the medical doctors have nothing to do with the two broken ends of the bones healing themselves. Now, after 8 weeks, if they take your x-rays of your broken bone and they recognize it's not healing together at a normal speed, they're going to take a blood sample and they want to know, do you have adequate levels of calcium inside of you? Because they're going to think you're deficient in calcium. Then they might put you on a calcium supplement if you are. What your medical doctors don't know is that what carries calcium to the broken bone to keep calcium in the bone is magnesium. It's not a deficiency in calcium, it's a deficiency in magnesium. So where do you get magnesium from? You can either supplement it or you get it from your food. Green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, fruits. This is where you get it. Even in meats, you get magnesium. All right. So this is the power of food. Once I realized, oh my God, I've been programmed to believe that this human body is fallible, incapable of healing anything, and we have to go outside of ourselves to get drugs at a pharmacy. Oh, once I realized this, the entire veil of deception of medicine literally fell in about 5 minutes. And I was like, wait. Even the medical profession knows they have to wait for the immune system to heal itself. And based on the nutrient loads of the body, the speed at which the body heals can occur. But I had to literally peel back the veil of deception that we've all programmed with commercials, radio, TV, magazines, you name it, that the body doesn't heal itself. It requires drugs. No, it doesn't. Every symptom, every disease ever experienced by a human being is a nutrient deficiency. Yeah. No different than the broken bone. If it takes longer to heal, it's because you're deficient in something. Go put it back in, and the body knows what to do with it if it has enough.
I mean, it's what you say is beautiful. I think sometimes, when people come to our center and they do the energy enhancement system session, I always try to explain the self-healing capacity of the body, which is infinite. It always tries to go back to homeostasis. When you cut yourself, after 2-3 days, the cut is gone. So a lot of people seem to understand when you talk to them. And I see a larger part of the population, in general, getting to grips with this concept that the body has a self-healing capacity. Are you hopeful, Bryan?
Oh, I'm very hopeful. In fact, we'll piggyback on top of this. You've got minerals, calcium. Each of these have a vibrational frequency. We're going to get back into the frequencies here with your ES systems. You got frequencies, and every cell, every atom, every molecule in the universe vibrates at a specific frequency. All of them do, an energetic frequency. Calcium does, magnesium does. Everything has its own frequency. Even your thoughts resonate a specific frequency. And if you aren't aware that what you put in your body and what's in your mind actually interacts with each other, it is absolutely true. How you think about the food you eat, how you feel about the things you're consuming or putting into your body actually influences that stuff's impact into your body and how it enhances your healing qualities. So frequencies are a huge deal. Your thoughts would probably be the number one thing I think the majority of us have to master controlling and creating. You are the ultimate creator. I believe God created all of us and everything in the universe, and he created us human beings to be little creators also. And you can create whatever outcome of your life you want, and the majority of it's based on your thoughts and your belief systems about yourself and about life around you and your immune system. So the purpose for these conferences is to remind you and to then showcase in front of you how people have overcome things they were told they could never, ever overcome. And how did they do it? Through frequencies, through thoughts, through this incredible facility that you've built there, Jonathan, through the foods you decide to consume that have less poisons in them than others. Once you start introducing them into your body and you start realizing and thinking with every great organic food you're eating, or grass-fed, whatever, hey, this is a better quality food for me. Guess what happens to the quality of your life? It becomes enhanced. So every part of your life can be improved. Your ability to heal and overcome absolutely is enhanced. And you need to be a part of a community who all have the exact same understanding, who have already experienced it and can share with you how they overcame and enhance their own lives through various means. And all of it's going to go back to, what are your belief systems? What are you putting into your body? Air, water, food, quality of those things dictates the quality of your living experience. And you're going to watch your life be enhanced in ways you never, ever, ever experienced. And yes, I have tons of hope.
But I think when you talk about health, a lot of people are talking about, thinking probably physical health, but food and frequency, when we are on this topic, how important is food for emotional well-being, mental health, our vibrational state and capacity to heal? Because this one thing is physical, but the other thing is sometimes even more important, right? How would you explain that to our audience?
Yeah, number one, so a couple things here. When it comes to talking about energy and frequencies, to a lot of people that might be like woo-woo, weird stuff. Don't worry, it's not weird. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a photography style out of Russia that came out about 50 years ago, but it's called Kirlian photography. And this Russian scientist figured out a way to capture with an image, a photograph, how much energy that plant, that leaf, that vegetable, that rock is actually putting out from itself. And you can call it an aura. You can call it the plant's chi, right? Its energy, vibration, its frequency. But the life force in every plant, every vegetable, when you look at organic vegetables versus those that have glyphosate or Roundup poisoning or chemicals or pesticides, their energy vibration is much smaller than what you see from organic, all-natural plants. Given sunlight, planted in the dirt, actually, if it's in the soil of the earth, its vibration and energy pictures are much bigger. And when you take that life's energy of that plant, put it into your mouth and eat it, the energy of that plant goes into your body to enhance your own vitality and energy. And your aura will be expanded. And this has been photographed using Kirlian photography for decades. This is a actual very physical thing, not a woo-woo, we're increasing your energy by eating a pecan. No, that's not what we're saying. You can physically capture the images of the energy being emitted by those plants, by those foods that the earth is supplying us. And the earth itself has its own frequency and energy and vibrations that it puts into the plants and infuses them to benefit all mammals roaming around on its surface, which includes you and I. So yes, the foods you put into your body matter. The foods with the most vital life force, it has been captured with pictures with something called Kirlian photography. And I have used these devices. I have seen these images. It is phenomenal. There is a real energy life force provided by the foods we consume, and some have more energy than others. Those that have been poisoned, not connected to the earth, have less frequency and energy. Therefore, the energy they supply to you as a battery and a fuel source will be less than others, which is why we always promote the more natural, the more organic, the better.
You know, the interesting about Killian photography, Brian, is when you cut a leaf and they take the picture, they still see the energetic footprint as well of that vegetable, which is quite
Exactly right.
remarkable, isn't it? Yeah.
It
So, I mean, to somebody who likes to start with high vibration foods, like taking them in, is there any practical steps that you can give them to support that path towards holistic well-being?
Yeah. So number one, I think, let's see, how would I start that? That's a good question. So since I've been in practice, I used to just hand charts to every one of my patients. Here's your food starting points. This is what you need to eat. This is what you need to be consuming. And so as a practical guide, I would first say, make sure you're looking for farmed goods, fruits, vegetables, farmers markets in your area. These are going to be better for you, most likely. Usually people aren't loading up pesticides to then go to a parking lot at a church or at a government building to sell you their vegetables and produce that you can get cheaper at the supermarket. It's usually more care given to and more respect for nature. And those individuals at farmers markets, fresh markets, typically have better fruits and vegetables. I would start by making sure every single day you start consuming an organic, all natural vegetable or fruit serving every single day. And I know this sounds hard, but most people aren't doing that. Most people aren't getting a full serving of organic vegetables or fruits in a given week, not one. Like most people don't do that. This usually artificial processed foods, flours, baked goods, you name it, that make up the majority of their diet, or it's non-wild, non-healthy, not grass-fed beef, something else, you know. So I recommend you start with fruits, vegetables, one serving of organic fruits and vegetables a day. And then I always recommend it as a blanket slate for people. If you want to start improving your diet and your overall health, you should start consuming foods, organic versions of those foods, or all natural, farmers market sourced foods that are on an anti-candida diet. And this is specific. So many people around the world deal with pathogens in their body, fungi, bacterium, parasites, and I put every single one of them on an anti-candida diet. And the anti-candida diet, you can download those online, look them up, antifungal diets. The restrictions and the replacements of the foods they recommend, you need to follow those recommendations, but make them organic and natural. But I would start at least making sure every single day, one serving a day. Everybody, you're getting at least one serving a day of organic fruits and vegetables every day. That's the very first thing I would say. Period.
Okay. All right. Ryan, I had a conversation with a Dutch doctor, general practitioner yesterday. And he has this program on an important show in the Netherlands. And he was saying that what he likes to do is invite, for example, a person who is on a carnivore diet. And then the next week he invites a person who is on a medical medium diet. Complete opposite, supposedly, right? So to me, it kind of seems, what is really going on here? Because they both come with their literature. They both seem to be very healthy. How do you view that specifically from a frequency and vibration and energetic standpoint? What's going on there, according to you?
Yeah, very good. Oh, all right. So
yeah.
This gets into an amazing topic, actually. So this is not a joke. I actually watched a little clip of an interview with Deepak Chopra about 35 years ago with Oprah Winfrey. Okay. So let me explain to you. Okay. Doesn't matter if you tell me, hey, I'm following the eat right for your blood type diet. I'm eating a carnivore diet. I'm eating paleo diet. I'm eating keto diet. I'm eating Weight Watchers diet. I don't care. Whatever it is you're doing. I need to share with you what I was watching and learning this weekend and being reminded of. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about this interview. But 35 years ago, he was interviewed and he was discussing a research study that had just been done on rabbits, with Oprah. So listen to this. He said they took cyanide or arsenic laced food, and they fed individual rabbits this food for 7 days. And every rabbit died.
Highly poisonous. Okay.
All of them died. Then the researcher said, this was the purpose of the entire experiment. And Deepak is relating this experiment and its findings to Oprah. And this might explain to everybody watching here, why does I said your mindset about what you're eating will impact the result of what you experience when you eat it. If you're looking for healing and you believe eating more organic, paleo, carnivore diet, medical medium diet, whatever, if you grab onto that and gravitate to that and believe ultimately that it will help you based on what was presented to you, it will happen. Watch this. This researcher, Deepak Chopra, is relating, took these rabbits, and this last group of rabbits, he decided to pet them and tell them how much he loved them as he fed them the poison food that killed 100% of the other rabbits. And every one of the rabbits he talked to, stroked with love, held them as he fed them poison. Every one of those rabbits lived and none of them died from the same poison food they gave to the other rabbits that 100% died. From this, Deepak Chopra said, what I've learned, Oprah, is it doesn't matter what food you're eating as much as your belief system about the food you are consuming. Because even when they fed these rats poison, deadly food, proven to kill 100% of all animals, as they ate it and they believed the person feeding them loved them and was doing it out of gratitude, love, admonishment, and reverence, it literally changed how that food impacted the health of the animal. It actually gave them sustained life versus robbing it of life. So the context of belief, you cannot get around this. If you haven't read the book, Biology of Belief. Okay. And I will speak to this. Lots of people would come into my practice and go, Dr. Ardis, do you believe that I should eat according to my blood type? This is not a joke. I'd go like this. I've already read the book. You're asking my opinion? Yes. Do you think my life will be transformed if I eat according to my blood type? And I'd go, you just want to know my opinion? Yes. No, I think that's ridiculous. And they'd go like this. Wait, why do you think that's ridiculous? This is the common sense side of me, Jonathan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
As great as the information is in the eat right for your blood type, I looked at every patient, and I'm looking at all of you right now. Do you really think that God put all these billions of generations of human beings on the earth for thousands of years? Thousands of years. You've all been eating stuff for thousands of years. Do you really think I think that God told a guy that there is this specific type of blood type human that if your blood type is identified by science, you will know that you can only eat 3 almonds, 4 raisins, 2 cranberries, 2 ounces of tuna, and a 1/4 ounce of chicken. Do you really think I believe God put you on this earth and that everybody had to figure out these weird amounts of almonds, nuts, seeds that you were going to be able to consume, and it was all going to be based on your blood type? I do not think God put us down here to figure out something so difficult, so restrictive. I do not think God intended anybody to eat that way. However, if you get done reading that book and you think this is exactly what you need and you started following that diet, you will see extremely beneficial effects. But from a common sense standpoint, I think it's ridiculous to think that God intended all of us to figure out that each of us have different kinds of blood. All humans. And based on that blood type, there's certain berries you should eat every day that other people shouldn't be eating. I do not think it was that complex. Human beings make things complex. I think life is much more simple. I believe it's way more simple than what man has chosen to decide life is. And oh my God, do we make life super complex. In fact, my entire life growing up, in fact, yours too, I'm hoping in Europe, I was presented in elementary schools, public schools, Saturday morning cartoons with a phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Do you know I make fun of this every day? An apple a day keeps the doctor away is what I was told my whole life. Do you know I never, ever, until now, stand up on stages and will have people raise their hand and go like this. Hey, Dr. Ardis, I know an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but can you specifically tell me which apple is better for me? What type of apple? Granny Smith, Pink Lady. What is the exact apple? Is it green apples, red apples, yellow apples? What is it? No. It isn't that complex. Just eat the flippin' apple. That doesn't matter which one it is. The statement is eat the fruits, eat the vegetables, eat the nuts. Stop making it more complex than it is. Medicine, science has tried to make it appear that all of your suffering is super complex and rare only for you because of your unique genetics. It's not unique to you. We're all designed the same way. We all have the same genes as everybody else. You are perfect in your design. Now go eat the healthier options of foods. Study, get around people who've experienced the life-changing transformative effects of fasting, dry fasting, water fasting, not putting so much poisonous artificial food in your body. Try restricting how much food you put into your body and let your body do some healing. And then get some frequencies. Some affirmations like on those screens behind you. These are words, lights that influence healing. And if you don't think light can heal you, tell me how LASIK works in the retinas of your eyeballs. All they're doing is shooting a light beam in your eyeball and they can heal vision with light. It's just a light. Laser is just a really tight beam of light. So if you don't think light works, you tell me how LASIK corrects people's vision all around the world. They're just using a beam of light. Yes, light is amazing. And yes, you can heal from the frequencies of light. But your mindset, I believe, in this context of foods, different diets, I believe the more information and knowledge you know, creates a more solidified, concrete belief system around what you're about to put in your mouth on a regular basis based on what's written. And I believe if you believe it, your belief systems around that diet will provide the most value, more than even the food, based on this example I gave about Deepak Chopra, relating this information from that study.
Yeah, Bryan, the whole premise in the biology of belief from Bruce Lipton is what you talk about belief system and how important they are, and they can really transform certain things you believe about foods. If you think, it's going to help you, it's going to help you. If you think it's not going to help you, it's not going to help you. But what I think is fascinating, even more about the example you gave about the rabbits, is that when Deepak Chopra was, caressing the rabbit and talking love, the frequency of love, the high frequency to that animal seems to absorb that food in a different way. So that's even more fascinating to me because, we have water, and I want to talk to you about water as well in a minute. But in our room, and it's obviously influenced by the light that it absorbs, and water is a carrier of information. We exist 70 to 80% out of water. So how do you look at the frequency of that love that Deepak Chopra is putting into that animal related to how it's absorbing that food?
Yeah, so obviously there's going to be physical reactions, right? As the animal's being petted, he's having thoughts of love, appreciation, kindness, but the animal itself is going to be feeling serotonin levels going up, dopamine levels going up from
really
physically
biochemistry. Yeah.
So you're going to see there's real physical alterations in his chemistry, and serotonin, dopamine raises your feelings of affection, grounding, safety. I am safe, I'm loved, I'm appreciated. Those are all related to these hormones. So there's a physical, then emotional side where I'm being loved. And then as this thing that is loving the rabbit is feeding it something, it's going to view that as this is nurturing for me, loving for me, and that belief system around the food that it's created based on the hormonal changes as a reaction to the physical affection absolutely will create a higher sense of frequencies, of beliefs, of love, adoration, longevity.
So blessing our food is not a myth. It's an actual thing.
It is an absolute physical thing. Yes.
So frequency and vibration and water. Bryan, how important is water to us in hydration when you talk about frequency?
Oh my goodness. If you haven't studied Emoto's work, Dr. Emoto out of Japan, this guy's done incredible work. I've actually referenced his hidden messages in water texts and research for over 25 years now. So water, our bodies, every cell in your body requires water. We're made up of 60 to 70% water, every part of our entire body. So water and what we put into our body as far as water is very essential. And I will go back to some of the basics we learned growing up by any science teacher ever. 3 things the human body requires: air, water, and food. It was never air, Dr. Pepper, and food. It was never air, Gatorade, and food. It was never air, beer, and food. It was never air, whiskey, and food. It was always air, water, and food. And every mammal on the planet, including you, only drinks water unless you, as a mammal, give your pet that's a mammal different things to drink that's not water. All of us are conditioned and programmed naturally to benefit from consuming water. And I do want to state here, I live in the United States of America. I believe we are the most obese country, the most acute chronic kidney failing group in the entire world. Of all countries, actually, we have more kidney failure and more obesity than any other country. And I do personally believe, after 25 years of studying and clinically helping patients around the world, including in America in my practices, I am 100% convinced that the lack of human beings drinking water leads to the most kidney failure, obesity, diabetes, period, in America. And I believe it's the drinking of sodas, sugar-laced drinks and sports drinks and other drinks, I believe is destroying the kidneys of all people in America, which is why Warren Buffett 30 years ago could see a trend in all people as they live one year after another in America and consuming more and more sodas and more drugs. He could see future kidney failure as a major issue, and why Warren Buffett, the revenue money-making man that he is and the business opportunity man he is, he saw 30 years ago that there were going to be needs for dialysis clinics all over America. So he dumped billions of dollars into creating dialysis centers all around the country because he could see kidneys failing all over the country due to drug intake and sodas. And I believe if we just went back to making sure we consumed water, your kidneys require water to keep your blood pressure normal. Your kidneys require water to filter out all the toxins in the form of urine out of your body. So I think the more you can remove colors, sugars, you name it, corn, like maltodextrin, dextrose, out of your drinks, just go back to water. It'll be extremely beneficial on your health, and your body knows how to use water. And just speaking on frequencies, if you haven't read The Body Electric, you should read the book, The Body Electric. Every part of your body is electrical. And what does water do? Does it conduct electricity? Of course. Yes. So the more water you have in the body, the more electrically charged you are, the better every system of your body works. Your body is 100% electrical. This is why these electrical frequencies are so significant to the human body. So for the love of God, please put water in your body. Filtered water, distilled water, those should be your options every single day. You should be consuming more water than any other fluid, period, every single day.
Yeah. Bryan, I've seen you live twice in London, actually. I think you were able to blow an entire audience away of 600-700 people. You're going to speak at our conference to our audience. What was it that made you resonate with the Be Your Light conference? Why did you say yes, and how do you think it aligns with your mission and vision?
I actually, my father-in-law was killed in the hospital in February 2020. And that was the low point for my life, actually. For 3 months, I was stuck in this funk of anger, depression, grief. I wanted revenge on the medical doctors and nurses who killed my father-in-law that I adored and my wife and family loved. And when they kicked me out with security, when I challenged all of the medical profession, when they threatened me and kicked me out with security and then sold my wife and her family a lie that his only option now was palliative care to overdose him on morphine for 4.5 hours. Morphine paralyzes your ability to breathe. So they literally charged his insurance to murder him in front of my wife and family. When they did that in February of 2020, something happened 3 months into my grief and anger. I mean, I literally was furious for 3 months, literally up all night long, trying to figure out how to murder someone in those doctors and nurses' families and see how to get away with it, but I could never figure out how I was going to get away with it, and I'd end up in prison for the rest of my life, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this industry gets away with this crap all day long. And then I discovered a memo on the NIH's website, for those who know my story, that Dr. Anthony Fauci had promoted and mandated one singular drug called remdesivir for all COVID-19 hospitalized Americans. And when I read the studies in his memo, both of them declared this drug to be the most deadly toxic drug in those trials, and it killed more people than the infection did in each of the trials. And then it was banned from each of those trials, funded by the NIH, Anthony Fauci's department, actually. When I realized he was lying and that his lies were going to end up killing more people in hospitals, something went off inside of me literally that day as I'm reading the memo and reading the research studies. In May of 2020, I had this spark go through my body, Jonathan, and it was, you need to go defend as many people as possible against the deadly machinery of the pharmaceutical industry for the rest of your life. And it just hasn't turned off. So anybody who wants me at an event, anybody who wants me to come speak at their house, anybody who wants me to come do a book signing, anybody who wants me to come testify in a Capitol building, I have done it. I have said yes. I have said yes. Then it got to the point where I really physically couldn't do them all because I was being asked to be in different cities and different states at the same time, and I physically couldn't do that. I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't figured out how to project my hologram somewhere else to do that. But I'm sure Verizon, AT&T, and these big conglomerate elitists are figuring that out right now, and then I'll have that one day. It'll be holograms by Zoom. I'm sure it'll show up here one day, and I can do it all at once. But I physically have not been able to do that. But very much honored to have so many people around the world resonate with my messaging, who believe my messages have provided value to their lives, saved their loved ones' lives, kept them out of hospitals. It has been an incredible honor and been very humbling to watch that even though I failed, Jonathan, I failed at protecting and preserving my own father-in-law's life. I just need to say this, and I mean it.
Thank you very much.
When I say this, I mean it. When the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry using the drugs made by Big Pharma in the hospital with my father-in-law, when they kicked me out of that hospital and then pumped him full of a drug for 4.5 hours that ultimately killed him, and then they profited off of his murder. I need to say this. I mean it. The pharmaceutical industry and the medical industrial complex really effed up. They really screwed up when they killed my father-in-law. And it has been game on ever since. I will expose your fraud. I will expose your lie. I will expose your murder for hire, which is exactly what they're doing in hospitals all around the world. And I will expose that until my last breath. And I really have felt buoyed up by this mission to do this, but never felt that until my father-in-law was taken from me. Security was called on me and kicked me out. They said they would never talk to me anymore because I was a chiropractor and not medically trained. This is what they said. You don't have the medical license. Oh, no, I have destroyed the belief systems that industry has put into my patients for 20-something years. You've lied to every one of my patients, 16,000 of them that showed up in my Texas office. You lied to 100% of them and said they would have those symptoms and their diseases for the rest of their life. No, they didn't. They just had to show up in my office or show up in someone like me's office to walk people through how the body was designed truly by God to detox and heal itself. It has been game on, me versus Big Pharma and the medical industrial complex since May of 2020. It's what wakes me up in the morning. It's what keeps me looking up in research studies, doing presentations, flying around the world, testifying in Capitol buildings. I was even asked to testify in the King's Court in Parliament during COVID. Yes, I said yes. It just didn't end. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't ended yet. Jonathan, thank God, and I applaud all of you out there who decide you feel the calling to hold your own conference to bring hope to people in your communities.
That's exactly what we do. Bryan, because we all almost have to round this up, but I just want to say something on Anthony Fauci. You know that I interviewed him in Washington back in 2019 in his office around a campaign that I did around HIV. I had a diagnosis in 2009, and it's been quite a remarkable journey. But the awakening that's happening, and that's also what I believe you instill in people. You're waking people up to a certain truth, and the truth is that we have an innate ability to heal, and that kind of was my awakening too, because I would never interview him again. That was in a time that I wasn't still thinking, and I was still stuck in my own brainwashing and like belief system that were put into me by other institutions. So. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm very grateful for the work you do, for what you bring to the world, for what you're going to bring to our audience. And I'd like to welcome everybody who feels called, resonating, to this message, to come to our conference on 6th and 7th of September. Where can people find you, Bryan?
You can find me at the Be the Light conference in September at your facility. Also, you can come to the drardisshow.com is where I do all my podcasts once a week. I destroy a narrative around health that the medical profession wants you to believe. I destroy that and then show you all the truth behind healing from nature in medical science journals. And that's very exciting. So the Dr. Ardis Show, also healingfortheages.com for anybody who wants to participate virtually or come. We're going to hold our own conference here in Dallas, Texas in October, a month after your conference in Belgium.
Fantastic. A last message for our audience, Bryan?
Last message. Put your faith in God and nature over science and man's lab-created creations. 100%. I trust in God. I trust in nature more than I do in man's science and labs all day long.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much, Dr. Ardis, Bryan.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for being here. Everybody who's watching this, thank you for tuning in. If something resonated with what Dr. Ardis was saying, please share the interview far and wide. We want to bring the awakening to the entire world. And be welcome if you want to see Dr. Bryan speak at our conference on 6th of September on Saturday. He'll be there. So all very welcome. And see you then.
God bless.
God bless. Thank you so much, Bryan.